We're still wrapping up the New South Wales election. Everyone's digesting what this does mean. Well, it's clear what it means. It means wall-to-wall Labor governments on the mainland. If you look at the results, well, the Nationals did its job. They got every seat, held every seat but one. One Nation really failed to launch, particularly in the lower house, and there's a lot of soul-searching within the Liberal Party. So let's get a little deeper into what the electorate is telling us. The Director of Redbridge Group, Simon Welsh, joins us now. Simon, good to see you. The suburbs have changed, quite frankly. They're younger, they're more progressive, they're more compassionate. The Liberals have not.
Absolutely, Laura, you've nailed it there. I think we've now seen sufficient series of elections across the country, and including the federal election, as well as the research that we're doing and others, to really paint that picture. Middle suburban Australia is getting younger, is getting more educated, and with that comes this higher degree of sort of social progressiveness and a compassion that's really sort of been amplified by the whole COVID experience. Large parts of suburban Australia, particularly Western suburban Sydney as well, dealing with the trauma of COVID has left a country that's, sometimes when you talk about those sorts of trauma and, economic anxiety, those sorts of things, you can see a society turn nastier. The Australian suburbs are turning more compassionate and more empathetic. And I think for those, particularly those younger, more educated voters with that kind of mindset, we talk in politics about, political leaders, political parties can be seen as warm or as cold. And what we mean by that is warm is I have a sense that you care about me and people like me, and cold is I have a sense that you care about other people. Certainly, I think now we've seen sufficient evidence to show that the Liberal Party is drifting to the freezer on that sort of scale, that they've lost any warmth with what's happening out in middle suburban Australia.
Yeah, it strikes me that some within the Liberal Party, particularly on the Conservative side, speak about this left and right and what is conservative and what is not. I mean, the way I see it is that general voters actually, don't see an ideology, or am I incorrect there? Do they, judge policies on their merit? Do they see through a prism of left and right? What is it?
The average punter doesn't think in terms about, a cohesive ideology or things like that. It's really policy to tell a value story. It's a bit of an age-old adage in politics. In some senses, it's not new. But that value story that they're looking for right now is people first. It's looking after the vulnerable. It's looking after those less well-off than ourselves. It's bringing everyone together. There really is this almost sort of communitarian kind of sentiment that prevails across suburban Australia at the moment. And I don't think it's changing anytime soon. As I said, I think it's been put on steroids by COVID and everything that's happened around that. But the underlying demography of it, the younger, the more educated kind of population that's pushing it is I don't think that's changing back anytime soon. And I think if the Liberals don't evolve, then I think we might be looking at sort of an extinction event, if I can sort of put the hyperbole on a bit.
What did they think of Dominic Perrottet in the end, or can the blame be put at his feet, or was it more the party? Did they like him but kind of go, well, I still don't think we can vote Liberal?
There was always this coldness, that word again, this coldness around Dominic Perrottet. And it was his religiosity, the kids, all the rest of it, the sort of the private school upbringing. So there was a coldness of it that didn't speak naturally to this particular, sort of, as I say, this changing demography of the suburban world. The question on our mind was whether they would be willing to park that in a time of economic distress. Do you get a sort of a flight to, well, safety first, Liberals, economic managers, that's kind of baked into their brand. Would we get a flight back to that? That was always the risk, and clearly that didn't eventuate.
Simon Welsh, great to talk to you. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Laura.